What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm here to bring some breaking news to you and the channel. A new car. Today I just picked up a brand new, to me, Jaguar XF. This one has the 3.0 liter V6 with a supercharger, and it's fairly loaded. Doesn't have all the tech features, but we'll go into that in detail and I'll give you guys a full tour. I'm just driving this thing home for the first time, so before we get into all of it, I want to actually drive the car, which I'm doing now, and get a little bit more knowledgeable with everything that's in the car and how it functions. And so far so good. I'm already pretty well impressed with everything, so super pumped. Can't wait to share this experience with you guys and teach you more about this car. Alright guys, so before we hop in this car and I give you guys more of my in-depth thoughts and reviews of the vehicle, a tour of all the technology, let's just start with the tech on the outside of the car. I'll show you what I mean here in just 2 seconds with the Jaguar Remote Start app that you can download to your phone. But here's the outside of the brand new Jaguar. That is my new daily. Just want to announce that to you guys. It is very elegant. On the outside we have a blue, midnight blue with a chrome trim. It's very elegant. And tonight we are receiving about 10 to 20 inches of snow, in that range, depending on how the storm hits. So it is really cold, and it's going to be fantastic to have this vehicle in the first snowstorm. Unfortunately, I can't keep it clean for more than a day of having it, but it should be good to have in this weather. It's a little bit different than any other car I've ever owned in my entire life. So I'm really excited for it, and I'm really excited to give you guys more of my in-depth review of this, and of course give you guys the walk around tour. So before I get started with inside the car, the features, how it rides, and my opinions on some things, let's just start from the outside here. What's really cool about Jaguar's Remote Start is I'm gonna go ahead here. I have everything connected to the phone, and I will show you the vehicle's in use here. I'm gonna go and put my pin in, and now that I have my pin in, I'm gonna lock the car. And once the car is locked, you guys can see that it is locking. And once it locks, I can go to climate, and once this is done requesting, I can go ahead and hit start here, and it's gonna start the car in just 1 second here. There you guys go. Pretty fancy. I'm really excited to use that feature because my car will be outside, and when it's 15 degrees or 20 degrees out the next couple months, or even in the summertime when it's 80 degrees or 100 degrees, you can use this feature, and it's really sweet. So let's go ahead and walk around the car, and then we'll go inside and I'll give you guys the tour. So there you guys go, a little walk around tour. We have an all-wheel drive system with all-weather tires, and really elegant here with the Jaguar emblem in the front here. As you guys can see, it's been getting dirty here. So I unlocked the car from my phone, just like I did locking it and starting the car. And if you guys have this vehicle and you want to know more about the feature, I'll just show you. I unlocked the car. I'm gonna go in the car now, and all I need to do is press the brake pedal. So once I hit the brake pedal, which I'll do right now, all of the car starts up and the gear select mode comes up, and she's ready to go. Alright guys, so here it is, the V6 3.0 liter supercharged engine. It is a beast. Let's start it up and I'll let you guys hear that supercharger. Alright guys, so we are a day later from picking this car up, and of course we've been driving it and enjoying it. And so before I go ahead and give you guys some more tour of like the tech and the features, I just want to give you guys the first initial reaction to the drive and the feel. First off, it is supposed to snow tonight, so it's gonna give me an opportunity in this video to give you some review of the inclement weather. We'll take this thing out in the snow a little bit later tonight and see how she handles. Just so you guys know, this car is the Jaguar XF. It's got the V6 supercharged engine, which produces 340 horsepower and 322 foot-pounds of torque, delivering it to a rear-wheel drive bias, which is amazing. I like that. And it also has all-wheel drive, so it will put power to the front wheels as needed, as power is given to it. This car does 0 to 60 in the upper 5s, low 6s, which is pretty freaking amazing for a full-size sedan. This is pure luxury. This is the nicest car I've ever owned, and I'm really excited about it because it's probably gonna be the last luxury car that I own that has a freaking 6-cylinder with a supercharger that is just amazing in all realms of its existence. And unfortunately, the car world seems to be going to smaller engines for some sort of reason that I don't really fully understand, but it will become a car market for people that want to customize. I'm sure there's going to be a huge aftermarket parts bins for modding cars to get bigger engines in there. I'm sure these car manufacturers are going to do that as a loophole to some of the government regulations that are unfortunately being put onto them. So that's just my opinion on it. But in the meantime, here we are in this car, and I get to enjoy the last of its kind, a V6 supercharger with a really amazing power plant. And besides for that, it feels really nice in here. It's smooth. It handles the bumps like really well. I can go over some manholes on this highway that I'm on right now, and in a normal car, it's like it sounds like the car is gonna fall apart or you're breaking some suspension. Where in this car, it doesn't even make a sound, and it barely even feels like you went over that same bump. It's just incredible, the ride feel. It's got this, you know, typical, you know, Range Rover and of course Jaguar, this shift knob that pops up when you start the car. I know some people will say that it has caused problems in the earlier models, and I'm hoping that since this is the 2nd generation Jaguar XF, I feel like since it's a completely redesigned chassis and redesigned interior and all of that, etc., that they worked out some of the kinks that they had in Gen 1, and pretty excited. This car has, since we're talking about shift knob, it has a drive and a sport mode, and of course you can go and customize the settings in the screen to allow you to use the shift paddles in all drive modes. So if I want to be in drive without it being in sport mode, I can still use the shift mode on the paddle shifters, which is nice, by the way. I should add, the shifters are really responsive. Could the quality be a little bit better? Yes. Am I sounding like too crazy anal about it? Probably. So therefore, it's not a big deal. But once you're in the drive mode of shifting, it stays there until you hold down one of the shift paddles, which is typical for that feature on most modern day cars, but really awesome to have. Again, I've never personally had that in any of my cars, so it's nice. Cold startups, hopefully can get to one later in this video and maybe put it in right here, is amazing. It's got a nice sounding exhaust, as you guys can hear me driving up this road. And what's even better is the simple fact that it's got this loud supercharger, which, if I can just spoil the fun right now, drinking coffee this morning, I decided to go ahead and buy an open air intake kit for this car. It's like 150 bucks. It's gonna give me like an additional 10 to 15 horsepower. And of course, it's gonna make that supercharger freaking sound loud, because I want that thing screaming. I don't want tech. I don't want the beeping. I don't want the adaptive cruise control. I don't want any of those things that are gonna break. I just want engine. I just want engine and supercharger. So here we are. We got it, and I'm freaking pumped. Here we go. You ready? I don't know if the camera can hear that, but that supercharger freaking whines. Sorry, there's a car doing 20 miles an hour and a 50. God, man, sometimes people drive me nuts on the road. or I'm just too crazy, who knows, one of the two. So that's the initial thought on this car. It rides like a dream, and if anybody's looking to buy a valuable, depreciated luxury sedan, check out the Jaguar XF. The prices seem to be coming off more than a Jaguar, or more than a Mercedes and more than a BMW, because that's just the way the market is right now. So if you guys want to have something in the 5 Series range or an E-Class range of Mercedes, definitely take the time to check out the Jaguar, because this thing, in my humble opinion, offers all the same type of tech and all the same creature comforts that those cars have. The only thing that really is different, in my humble opinion, is not only the brand, which is, to me, is meaningless, but maybe some of the quality and touches of the material in the car. But at the end of the day, none of that stuff really matters, because my hands are constantly on the steering wheel, and the steering wheel in this car is a nice, it's got like a soft padded leather wrap steering wheel, which of course has a heated steering wheel on this car, and it feels great. I'm not upset by it. And of course the center console, everything here is leather. The center console here on the center, which I'll pan in the video here, is a hard plastic, which, you know, I feel like you're getting that in all the cars today, which could be leather wrapped and stitched, in my humble opinion. But again, it's these little details that I'm expressing to you as a car guy that's being a little bit too, what's the word? You know, critiquing it a little bit too much. But overall, it's great. The steering wheel, the door has a nice padded leather, and the sound system sounds good. The infotainment system is everything that the car offers in the modern world. And that's it, guys. That's all you freaking need. None of this craziness of 4 cylinders in this car. And you know I'm going to enjoy it. So that's the first initial review of me driving this car. There's gonna be a lot more reviews, I'm sure, because I'm gonna be changing some things and doing some tasteful modifications. But that's the story. And also the tech, there is an application that Jaguar offers on the phone that connects to your car, and it allows you to start the car, it allows you to lock the car, it allows you to set the climate control settings, and it also allows you to see your locations, your trip journey, where you've been, what you've been doing. It allows you to also see when you need to bring your car in for service. It offers you everything the modern tech world needs to offer you while you get into a car that is pure luxury, super fast, super nimble, because this thing can actually handle very well. Since it's a rear-wheel drive bias car, it handles the turns really well. And that's the first initial thought on this. So I'm gonna give you guys a little tour here next of some of the tech, and we'll go from there. Let's just keep it going. So first things first, we'll just turn the car off for you. And as you saw, this shift knob went down, but let's start the car. And starting in the center console here, we have a decent amount of storage in there. We got a 12-volt auxiliary navigation system and a USB hookup. In the center here, we have an electronic parking brake, two cup holders, which is fine. And then you have your drive select modes, which is also pretty sweet. I obviously always keep it in dynamic. You have a normal driving mode, eco mode, which I'll probably never use, and then a winter mode, which you guys just click these buttons here, and that's how that goes. And it also it addresses the transmission shifts, it addresses the way the gas pedal responds, and of course it addresses the suspension ride feel. Of course, you have an automatic start-stop feature, which this car doesn't seem to be in your face, which is what I like. If I could actually just remove that, I would, but that's just me. And then of course your traction control off settings. Of course, now we go forward, and you have your drive select mode, which is typical for these cars. It's really easy to use, and then a great spot for some storage like your cell phone. Moving up top here, in this car we have dual climate control in the front, and then I also don't have the climate control package in the rear, but I do have heated seats back here. So as you guys can see in the back here, we have heated seats on both sides, and of course more outlets for the passengers to plug in if they want to. So that's what it is for the tech and the climate. What's really nice is I can go into the climate control setting on the screen here, and it's going to give me the climate settings if I want to change the directional. or I can go to the front seats and turn on my heated seats and etc. like that. I hit the home button, it's gonna go back here. But what's really nice, which is why I'm showing you this, is I can also have quick access to it with a physical button, which I like, because some people don't like the touchscreen while you're driving. It's like a muscle memory to know that there's a button for it. So there's a button for your heated seats right here instead of going into the system, which is my ideal situation. Obviously, I just keep it at 70 in the winter, automatic, so I really don't even touch this. But you have your steering, you have your volume control here, and then of course you got your media settings, which is very typical. You have your AM, FM, satellite radio, Bluetooth, auxiliary, really nothing out of the ordinary. This car has a map system. I don't know how it's functioning. I haven't used it yet, but I'm sure it's pretty decent. It looks like it's not so bad. Of course, you got Kyle's phone, which is standard, and then if I scroll over to the next screen, and I'm not going to go into all this stuff, there's in-control apps with Jaguar I can set up. It can give you your trip status with your fuel economy, which I'll never really use unless maybe I'm on a long drive and I want to see how that is, but it gives you reading on your accelerator, speed of engine, and how much you're using your brake. So are you a good driver, not so good, are you racing it, are you ripping it? That's kind of what that does. And then of course this is kind of neat, and I haven't messed with this too much, but you can go into the all surface information here, and as I'm driving, I'll put it in drive so you guys can see. You can see that it's putting the power to the rear wheels, and as I give it gas, like I just did in park here, it transfers to the front as needed. Pretty sweet. And then if we back up, low friction is where you can control the vehicle's start from a dead stop to a start in the weather. So you can do like a a low torque setting, make sure it's on automatic all-wheel drive for the snow. So pretty intuitive there. So that's pretty much it for the infotainment system. You obviously have a camera which uses reverse, and again, there's no sensors on this car, which for me is perfect. I don't really want things beeping at me. Less tech, the better. Just give me the meat. I want luxury, I want power, and I want usability with tech, in terms of like cell phone and music and that kind of stuff. So that's pretty neat. And then in the steering wheel here, you have more settings, and you can do a speed limit on the car, so you can set that. So if I don't want to go past 79, you just click this up to 79. You guys can see it say limiter, and therefore it won't allow the car to exceed that speed. You can turn that off, and then you have your cruise control, heated steering wheel, which you just press and lights up. Over here you have your Bluetooth settings, and then your radio settings, and then of course you can access your monitor here, which gives you your trip information, service center, which tells you your tire monitoring and all that stuff. If you guys notice, we have red gauges. That is the dynamic mode, and will change colors as you go into different drive modes. So there is normal mode, and you guys can see it changed to white. Let's go back to dynamic, because that's where I like to be, and there it is, red. So that's pretty much it for the tech. It's pretty straightforward, it's pretty simple. We have a nice headliner with a sunroof, pretty standard in any modern day car, and it's fairly large, so that's kind of cool. Going to the side panel here, we have 3 features for the seat settings and memory, which also has an automatic control on the steering wheel with that, window control, and of course your mirror control up here. And that's it for the tech. Let's go and I'll show you the trunk. In the back here we have our dual exhaust system, which sounds amazing. I talked about it in the car here, but we have a fantastic large trunk here. So if I have people coming into town from Chicago, let's say like family, they can come in with their suitcases. We also have a spare tire, and then we have access to another 12-volt plug here if you are out tailgating or something, out and about, or need power in the rear. It's pretty awesome and user friendly. So there is the little bit of the outside here, pretty straightforward. I got brand new tires and brakes on all the car. The rear seat here is very spacious, and if you are 5'8" like myself, okay, I'm 5'8", I got my seat setting to my seats. I have my seat memory where I am sitting in the front. You guys can see here I have like a good solid like 5-6 inches of knee room here, and of course plenty of headroom. And of course, again, in the back you have lock features, windows, and like I said earlier, heated seats and more plugs for outlets. Very, very comfortable, and as you guys can tell, this car, just the way it's just the color combination, which is why I bought it, is just really pretty, really elegant. Pretty is like more for a woman, but for me it's very elegant and I enjoy it. It's a little bit unique, and I do not like black, so when I saw black on black, I stayed away from it. I went with the dark blue outside and this interior. Alright guys, so it is starting to snow. It is going to be the first snowstorm of the year, so before it actually starts to come down heavy, I'm going to take you guys on some back roads. They already threw some salt down, but I think we'll manage. So clean, so smooth. That was to 70, guys, really quick. Guys, so I will give you more action on this tomorrow once all the snow's in, but what's cool is in the windshield there's little wires, electrical wires that run through it. Very hard to see unless you really focus your eye on it, but what's kind of neat on the Jaguar here, I mean, just kind of like pay attention to the road. It's snowing pretty bad, but right here where my finger is the button to turn on the heater core for the windshield. So even though your heat and defrost is on, that turns on a de-icing mechanism, which is pretty fascinating. So we're getting 20 inches of snow. They're calling for a maximum of 20 inches, so 10 to 20 inches, somewhere in that range. Regardless, there's quite a bit of snow, and so here we are. We are just over 24 hours of ownership of the car, and we're giving this thing a ride for its giving it a test in the snow here, so pretty cool. Stay tuned, boys. All right, I'm giving this to you live updates on the snowstorm because it's actually really fascinating. I have the car in the snow function, obviously, and I just approached a red light, and instead of braking, I let the car just kind of come to a coast, because that's what you do in a snowstorm. If you guys are watching that aren't used to driving in the snow, you try not to brake too much, right? The car actually slowed itself all the way down to 6 miles an hour before I either had to brake or accelerate, and in this case obviously the light turned green, so I accelerated. But what I was just trying to get at is that it self-sustained itself all the way down very slowly, and that's obviously with my inputs of not giving it gas or any braking, which was pretty amazing for snow. I've never experienced that before, so I figured I'd share that with you, because obviously the Brits build cars for snow. They got snow in their world, so it's some good engineering. So here we go. We're approaching this red light. I'm completely off the gas here, and I'll just show you guys how this thing seems to function. And the car is already braking and slowing itself down. I'm literally doing no inputs at all. The car completely just brought it down to 10 miles an hour, and now I'm gonna hit the brake. That is incredible. So this is live action for you guys. I figured I'd share it. That's pretty awesome. Really cool car. Alright guys, it is a few days later here, and we've actually almost burned through the first full tank of this car, and or owning the car, and it's been fantastic. Very big pleasure to have, and look forward to sharing a lot of content with you guys on this car. In fact, the next episode I'm going to go further in depth of how this car responds to snow and the systems that Jaguar has in place with the snow functions, and I'll just give you a little heads up. It's pretty impressive, so stay tuned for that video. It will be dropping live this Tuesday, and look forward to sharing more with this adventure of this car. And of course, we'll continue to do other content on the channel. So if you guys have been following the channel for other vehicles that we've been doing, especially ones of the recent past, we will continue to do that, work on those cars and continue to build other vehicles as well. So stay tuned for more. Look, reach out to me at Kyle Pancis on Instagram if you guys have any questions. Please smash the subscribe button if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next video.